Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine Avatara varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. My salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who is the embodiment of all religions and who descended on this earth to establish and regenerate the Dharma. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, today we are having a third talk on this Om Rim Ritam, that is the poem composed by Swami Vivekananda on Sri Ramakrishna. First line only we could see in the two classes actually, because it is such a deep, profound, and it has got innumerable insights too. And if you see the whole poem or the whole hymn, every para, every stanza ends with the Tasmat Tvameva Sharanam Mama Dina Bandho. Hey Dina Bandho, oh, the person who is always ever ready to help the destitute, to help the concerned or helpless people. Tasmat, therefore, Tvameva Sharanam. I shall take refuge at your holy lotus feet. Mama Dina Bandhu. You are my person. And who is ever ready, who is always ready to help the needy. And this is told by Swami Vivekananda himself, who is the Brahmagnani, the knower of Brahman, the spiritual dynamo, and who gave Vedanta to the entire world in this modern times. And he was a spiritual dynamo himself. And he himself is telling, oh, Sri Ramakrishna, you are the real helper for all of us. Hence, I shall take refuge at your feet. If this is the view, or this is the stand, if it is taken by Swami Vivekananda himself, then what to speak of us? Once, Swami Vivekananda tells very clearly, by the mere wish of Sri Ramakrishna, by his speck of dust, dust of the feet, by his speck of the feet dust, hundreds of Vivekananda can be born. So that is the power, that is the glory of Sri Ramakrishna. Here Sri Ramakrishna means it is not just, you need not to take it as a person, it is a divine power. It is a cosmic power. It is the Supreme Self. Now, this whole hymn is about the surrender at the feet of the Lord, at the feet of the cosmic power, at the feet of the divine power, or the Supreme Self, which is called Paramatman. Many times we tell, oh, I do not know anything. God knows everything. I have surrendered at his feet or her feet, then God will take care of me. Such type of utterances has been time and again repeated by the devotees, by the spiritual aspirants. But are we really surrendered? Have we really forgone our ego? And have we really surrendered at the feet of the divine? This is a big question which every one of us, we have to do the self-examine ourselves. Now, well, the scriptures, the devotional scriptures have described what is this self-surrender, Sharanagati, or it is also called technically Prapatti in Vaishnava text. This self-surrender has got 6 limbs, it seems. What is that? First is Anukulasya Sankalpaha. Of course, people who cannot follow Sanskrit, you do not to bother. Means accepting everything or accepting the thing whichever is favorable to devotion, which is favorable to spiritual practice, which is favorable to manifest the divinity. The second is pratikulasya vivarjanam, rejecting everything which is unfavorable for spiritual life, which is unfavorable to attain God or to practice the presence of God. The second is. The third is rakshayishyati iti vishwasaha, having a firm faith that God will protect us. The supreme power will hold our hands and will lead us in the further steps in our life. Then goptrutve varanam, embracing the Lord's guardianship. Then fifth is atma nikshepaha, that is self-dedication. Sixth is karpanya, understanding one's limitation and accepting the God or taking surrendering at the feet of the God. Now, these are the 6 limbs of the self-surrender. Now, when all these 6 conditions are ticked right, then only one can say that I have surrendered at the feet of the Lord. You may say Jesus Christ, you may say Allah, you may say Rama or Krishna or Durga or Ramakrishna or any other name. So if we say that you have taken surrender at the feet of the Lord, that means that surrender should include all the 6 components, the 6 limbs. Now, the first is anukulasya sankalpaha, accepting everything or accepting whatever, accepting whichever is favorable to the attaining devotion or practicing spiritual discipline or attaining the Lord. Now, every one of us, we should understand and we should do self-examine how much we are able to practice this. So as much as possible, we have to practice the presence of the God, presence of the Lord, or spiritual practices like japa, or meditation, then repetition of the Lord's name, or a scriptural study. This is one side, practice. The other side is we should leave the ego, unripened ego. We should leave the desire for name and fame, power, position, all these things. So are we ready? Yeah, maybe fine. We are trying. Yes, fine, we are trying, no doubt, but we have not completely achieved it. So this is what we have to understand. For example, one of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, that was the evening time, he was supposed to meditate, no doubt, and every day, as much as possible, he used to sit for meditation for 2 or 3 or 4 hours, maybe. One fine day, Sri Ramakrishna was searching for his disciple. His name was Latu. Then afterwards, he became famous as Swami Adbhutananda. He was a literate person. He never knew even to read and write. He just followed his guru's words, Sri Ramakrishna's words. That day, Sri Ramakrishna searched for him in Dakshineshwar, the place where in Calcutta where Sri Ramakrishna used to live. This Latu was not found. Then Sri Ramakrishna searched for some time and he came back to his room. Then late night, Latu came to Sri Ramakrishna's room and Sri Ramakrishna asked, Latu, today evening I was searching for you. You were not there. You were not to be seen. Where were you? What you were doing? Then Latu said, dear sir, respected sir, today somehow evening I was feeling very tired and I was not also feeling, I didn't have a mood to meditate. Hence, I slept off. I slept. Sri Ramakrishna immediately, he said, what? Morning and evening are the best time, auspicious time to remember the Lord. Instead of repeating the Lord's name, you slept. Oh, my dear, death is fast approaching. When will you remember the Lord? When will you call the Lord? When will you experience his presence? When will you see him? Just like physically we see a person, when will you see him? So these were the utterances, these were the sentences uttered by Sri Ramakrishna. Now, well, the logic, if you ask us, fine, every day he was meditating, only that day he slept off. why to make so much fuss about it? But there, Latu didn't take it in such a way. Latu felt very bad and embarrassed. Oh my dear, I made to feel my guru bad or wrong. Then he said, because of the sleep, I had to listen all this. From today onwards, I shall renounce the sleep. Then he became a Gudakesha. Gudakesha means one who has conquered the sleep. One who has conquered the sleep means it is not that, okay, he every day sleeps at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. and he gets up at 4 a.m. No. There is no regulated time at all. And he may not sleep at all for a few days or few weeks if he wishes so. And whenever he wishes, daytime or morning time, night, day, afternoon, evening, night, whenever he wishes, he can sleep at his will. This is called Gudakesha, one who has conquered the sleep. Now, by practice, time and again, this Latu Maharaj, Swami Adbhutananda, he became the Gudakesha, he conquered the sleep. And hardly 1 or 2 hours he used to sleep in the night. And most of the time, he used to sit and used to meditate or do japam or whatnot. His Kundalini Shakti got arose, spiritual awakening happened. And though he never knew to read and write, but whatever the statements afterwards in future, whatever the statements he gave, whatever the teachings he gave, it was resembling the Upanishadical statements, Vedic statements or scriptural statements. So he took his guru's words literally and he practiced that I should not waste my time in sleep. Instead of that, I should spend my time as much as possible in spiritual practice. So this is what very important. And one more is Sri Ramakrishna's disciple. His name is Shashi. He came to serve his master. And one fine day he had opened the books and he was reading and he was engrossed in reading at some place. His Guru Sri Ramakrishna called him twice or thrice. He didn't hear because his mind was in concentration. He was studying. After some time, when Shashi came to his master, Sri Ramakrishna asked, my dear, I wanted your service at particular time. I called you twice or thrice. Where were you? Then Shashi said, oh, sir, please excuse me. I was engrossed in studies. Maybe some maths or science or arts and commerce or whatever. Sri Ramakrishna said, fine, you came here to serve me and you were gone reading and you've forgotten everything. And whenever I need, and you are not there. What is the use of having you? Then he felt so ashamed himself. He apologized, he asked sorry, and afterwards immediately he took all his books and he threw to the Ganges and said, I don't want anything more this. I want only the self-knowledge and I shall serve my master and I shall attain the self-knowledge. Now, these small example stories, it looks very silly for us. It may look very silly for us. It looks very simple for us. But these people, they took it very serious. As a result, they became the knowers of the Brahman. They experienced the God. They became the saints. And they, experienced the God at every moment of their life. This is called Anukulasya Sankalpaha. Accepting everything that is helpful to obtain God, to experience the God. So it is very important. Then the second one is the second limb or the second component. The second part of the self-surrender is what? Pratikulya Vivarjanam. Reject anything which is an obstacle to obtain the Lord, to experience the Lord, to have a God realization or self-realization or whatever. For example, ego. For example, lust, anger, jealousy, pride, arrogance, then whatnot. Desire for name and fame, power and position, mean-mindedness. All these things are unfavorable for spiritual life. To experience the Lord or to have the self-realization or the experience of the consciousness. You have to shun all these things. That's why Swami Vivekananda tells. Whatever makes you physically, intellectually, morally weak, reject it as a poison, he says. So this is what Pratikulya Vivarjanam. So whatever is unfavorable for spiritual life, it should be rejected just like a poison. Then one can think that, one can feel that I have surrendered, I have taken surrender at the feet of the Lord. The same thing we can see in the life of Naren, that is Swami Vivekananda. Now, I hope all of you know that there are called 8 powers, called 8 occult powers, Ashtasiddhis. Ganima, Anima, that is, if you have got this Anima occult power, you can become very microscopic. You can become the smallest person. You can, even people may not be able to see in the naked eyes. You can become such a small person. Anima. Then Mahima. You can become maybe 15, 20 feet high, or you can become very big in size, huge in size. Laghima. You can become very heavy. And Vashikarna. You can, if you get this power, then you can, control anyone. You can control him, control his thoughts, and you can regulate him. Whatever you say, he will start doing it. At your disposal, he will be there. Like this, there are called 8 occult powers. When you practice more and more sadhana, and when you control your mind, and when you do special type of sadhanas, these powers, 1 or 2, will be attained in generally. There are very few people, saints, who have got all these 8 powers. And Sri Ramakrishna was one among them who had got all the 8 powers just by itself. He didn't try for this. Because he had advanced in his spiritual life, he had got all the 8 powers, Ashtasiddhis. And he hardly used it. Once, Sri Ramakrishna asked his disciple, chief disciple, that is Naren, in future who will become Swami Vivekananda. He said, Naren, see, I have got these 8 occult powers, and I am not using, so there is no use for me. So will you mind, or will you like to take this? Do you mind to take this? Now imagine, it is like jackpot or lottery. If we ask one, even if we get, we'll become big saints, probably big monasteries or big buildings will be built in our names. We can become very famous, world famous persons by 1 or 2 of these powers. And now Sri Ramakrishna is offering voluntarily all the 8 powers to Naren. If we would have asked, we would have said, oh, thank you, my dear. Thanks, Lord. Please give me, let me use it. Or let me see how can I use it. How can I improve the world? How can I improve the society? All sorts of things we would have told. When Sri Ramakrishna said, Naren immediately, instantly asked, respected sir, these 8 occult powers, does any or all will help my God realization? Will it help for self-realization? Will it help to experience my real nature, inherent nature? Sri Ramakrishna said, no, it will not help. Sometimes it may distract you also. Then immediately, Swami Vivekananda, that is Naren, said, if that is the case, sir, I don't need it. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, it will help you in your future Vedanta work. Naren said, no, let it be for future, but no, I don't need any of them. And outwardly, openly, he rejected it. See, for him, what God realization or self-realization was the center of his life. So he rejected the 8 occult powers, which is the rarest in the life. And voluntarily, Sri Ramakrishna was ready to give him, and he said, no. So this should be the attitude of a real spiritual aspirant. Then God will come, or anything will come in one's life. Same thing, once a young lady, a young widow lady, attracted by Swami Vivekananda, young Naren, she came voluntarily. She wanted to enjoy him. But Naren was unaware of it. He was sitting on the first floor alone, and he was reading. And it was evening. Night was approaching, and slowly this young lady came to the young Naren. Now imagine, both of them are single, that's all. Both of them are in prime age. When Naren, after some time, when Naren saw her and her body action, immediately he understood what she wants, what she's expressing, what she's expecting from him. Immediately he said, sorry, you are doing a wrong thing. You are expecting wrong thing from a wrong person. Please, sorry, excuse. And you should not waste your life like this. Give your body and mind to the Lord so that you will feel blessed. Saying that, he walked away. Instantly, he walked away. Not for even a single moment, his mind got tempted. Such a pure character, young Naren's life, young Naren. That's why he became a spiritual dynamo. If you see all the greatest saints, either devotees or whichever the path they might have taken, but if you see, they always sacrificed everything for the sake of the God, for the sake of the self, for the sake of the Lord, for the sake of to attain supreme self. So this is called pratikulya vivarjanam. So if you have got this, the so much percentage you have got, that means so much surrender at the feet of the Lord is there for you. So it should be very strong. The more strong, the more you feel that you are surrendering at the feet of the Lord, at the feet of the Supreme Self. Then rakshayishyati iti vishvasaha. Having a firm faith that God will protect me. So this is also very important. God is there for us to protect, no doubt. If you have got more and more faith in Him, in His protection, definitely He will protect us. But the problem for us, we say that God will protect us. One side will say, and when we are when we are supposed to get into the river, then we lift our clothes. In one hand, we are telling, oh God, you are there, you are protecting. In the other hand, we are lifting our clothes so that clothes will get wet. Means we don't have firm faith. We don't have right faith. We don't have complete faith in the God's feet. For example, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple, one of the disciples, Swami Trigunatitanandaji. He was a mountaineer. He used to love mountains and especially Himalayas. Many times he has gone in a very deep part of the Himalayas. And even he had been to Kailas, Manasarovar, Tibet in those days. And without anyone's help, alone, with having just a piece of 1 or 2 sets of clothes and just a stuff and a water mug, that's all. Nothing else. No money, no food, nothing, no guidance, no route map, nothing. And once he was going like this, it was evening, dead night, and he was just walking on the glacier, ice glacier. So in the ice glacier, as we all know that there is no established path. Every time you have to make sure that the next place, there is no problem. Because sometimes there will be a thin layer of ice. It looks like that everything is okay. And once you keep your food, it gets break, and you will get into the water. Because of ice cold water, ice chilled water, you may get frozen, you may die. Now, he is going in the Himalayas on the glacier. And the entire portion of the lake was not frozen. But here and there are patches of the ice and there are patches of water also. So he has to see everywhere, wherever the piece of ice which can bear its weight, his weight, he's seeing that and he's trying to protect himself, and step by step he's going alone in the late night. And just there's a dim moonlight. In the help of moonlight, he's walking. Imagine. Now suddenly, in that dead night, in that dangerous route, somehow he's managing, and suddenly a thick patch of black clouds came and it covered the moon. Now there's a complete dark. Now he doesn't know what to do now. Because neither he can go back, nor he can go front. And at the same time, he cannot stand for a long time there also. Because of his weight or whatever, the ice can break and he can get sink. He can lose his life. Then his mind probably got a blank just for a moment. And he prayed to Sri Ramakrishna, oh Master, I think my life is at the end. Just I'm remembering you. Please protect. Just he remembered his Guru, Sri Ramakrishna. Then miraculously, someone showed the light. Someone showed the path, and someone is holding his hand. Then in just few moments or few minutes, he was out from the glacier. And by the time, thick patch of clouds moved and is getting moonlight now, dim moonlight, but no one is there in front of. But he clearly understood that Sri Ramakrishna, his own Guru, came him, he is protected, and he led the path. So Swami Trigunatitanji was protected by Sri Ramakrishna. The same thing we can see in the life of Swami Vivekananda also. Swami Vivekananda, when he started preaching Vedanta in the America in those days, 125 years, Slowly, he became very famous. Many people got attracted towards Vedanta and they started hearing his lectures. And after hearing his lectures on Vedanta and etc., then many of them, they started feeling their own religion or their own religious teachings as not right. And they stopped going to church. Though Swami Vivekananda never said that you should not go to church, you should not ascribe to religion, but that was the effect. So they stopped going to church and they stopped giving donations to some of them to church. So church fathers, unfortunately, the church representatives, the heads of the church, they got alarmed. And because of the petty-mindedness or whatever human weakness, they got jealousy, they were furious, and they started doing character assassination of Swami Vivekananda so that people can come back to their churches. But it was of no avail. Once he was called for a function and a coffee was given, given to him. Coffee was served. And he was about to sip. Immediately, Sri Ramakrishna stood next to him and he said, "My dear, please avoid taking this coffee because coffee is poisoned. If you take, you will die because they want to kill you. Because of you, so many people are coming to you and they have stopped going to church. So they want to poison and kill you. So please don't take this coffee." Then he while talking slowly, he diverted the attention and he said he has to leave and he asked sorry and he excused and he left the place, but he didn't take the coffee, which was poisoned. Like this, we can take n number of, examples, either in the Christian science or the Muslim mystics, Sufis, they say Muslims, and in the Hinduism, in every religion. There are so many saints and so many devotees were taken care by the God. And just probably here, I will tell just one personal example and I will go further. When I came to Ireland, I didn't have a proper woolen clothes. In 2-3 days, one devotee came and she said, "Swamiji, probably you don't have a woolen clothes, come." And she took me and we took one pair of woolen winter clothes. And of course, she was ready to get second pair also. But I felt uneasy. I should not tax one person. And I said, "No, as of now, this is enough. In future, we shall see." Then she asked twice or thrice. I said, "One set is enough." And we came back. Fine. Then I came in October, then November, December. Then, I come from the India, you can very well imagine. In the October itself, I was feeling a bit chill. And in November, December, my dear. And only one set of winter clothes is there. And 15 days or 15, 20 days, I had to wash, no doubt. If I put for wash, then there is no set of woolen clothes. Then I'm just new. I don't know many people. And I don't feel that easy to ask people also regarding this. I kept quiet and said, "Oh, my dear God, if this is your will, let it be so." Then, for a day or two, because it has to dry, wash and it has to dry. 1 or 2 days with whatever is available, I used to manage. And sometimes I used to feel a bit difficulty also with a cold, biting cold. Then it might have happened 1 or 2 months. One day, one devotee had come. And he had a severe back pain and he didn't come for a few weeks. As a result, he had come nearby city. He lives in a cabin. In Avon. So he couldn't come. Then one fine day he had come to city center or somewhere. So he thought he will meet me or he will come to ashram, and he came. Then evening, both of us, we are talking each other. Then somehow he has observed with this cold, I am struggling and etc. Immediately asked, "Swamiji, don't you have got a winter clothes?" Then I avoided the answer. I avoided that question. He understood that I don't have a proper woolen clothes or winter clothes. That's why I'm struggling or whatever. And he had a very severe pain. Sitting for half an hour itself was challenging for him at that particular time. But in spite of that day while going or next day, while going to office, he has purchased the second set of woolen clothes. And in that pain itself, he has traveled all the way from the Navan and he gave the clothes. And I was really alarmed by seeing his physical position, but still he brought the second set of clothes and he gave and he left. So that's what sometimes God also examines us, no doubt. Are we having a patience? And are we really believing in God at all given circumstances? If we have got that, God will give us in leaps and bounds. So having firm faith in the God, Having firm faith in the God's protection is very, very important for all of us. We may have to undergo suffering, no doubt. We may have to undergo praise and blames, no doubt. Sometimes we may be praised, sometimes we may be blamed for no reason. These are all different tests, blue litmus test given by the God for us. But if you can face all them, and if you can hold the God's feet, Lord's feet, divine's feet, then definitely in leaps and bounds he gives and he protects. And his protection is the best protection, the ever best protection in the whole world or the universe. So that firm faith we should have in the God's protection. This is also the part of Sharanagati, self-surrender. The same thing we can see a Muslim, a poor person, he was living in Calcutta, and with a difficulty, somehow he used to manage his life, and he had a thatched hut, that's all. Unfortunately, once there was a fire accident, his whole hut got burnt into ashes. He was so much broken. He had a broken heart. He was crying for a few days. And he has got very meager income. And he had to struggle. He had to suffer. And somehow 1 pi, 2 pi, like that, he collected and he worked hard and he had cut his expenses, mere expense, very basic lifestyle he had, but still there also he had cut short. And afterwards he borrowed some money also. Somehow he managed to build a small hut again. Very simple hut he managed in few weeks or whatever. Then just he's about to breathe. Unfortunately, again, there was a fire accident. And again, second time, the hut was burnt into ashes. Probably it happened. Then again, we very well we can imagine what would be his plight. And again, he was morose. He had a broken heart. He cried. He lamented. And he said, what I have done, what mistake I have done, why God is punishing me like this, what curse is there, whose curse is there on me, all such. His mind was boggled by such questions. Then after some time, few months, again he built a hut in a simple possible way. And again, third time there was a fire accident. But this time it was too much on him. He had lost all the hopes and he was in despair. Then the same day, Sri Ramakrishna was going in a tanga, that is in a horse carriage. Then a person who was a neighbor to this Muslim fellow, he was a Hindu, he said, look, Sri Ramakrishna is going. People say that he's a saint and he's a mystic, even some say that he's an incarnation God, he's a God and all. Why don't you go and approach him? Why don't you ask his grace? Or why don't you seek his help? This Muslim fellow said, say, look, I'm a Muslim and he's a Hindu. So will he really help me? Because I don't know him and he doesn't know me also definitely. How can I go and ask him? If I approach, will he help really? Then the devotee said, see, look, we have got all these differentiations. God doesn't have any differentiation. And saint doesn't have any differentiations, definitely. If he's a real saint, he should not have any differentiation. And you go and try what is the problem in that. If it clicks, fine. Otherwise, no, what is there? You can come back always. There is no harm in that. Then, of course, he didn't have hopes, but he didn't have any other go. Then somehow he went and approached. And just he fell at his feet and just he cried and he said, oh, Baba, please help me. Oh, my dear saint, please help me. And he was unable to express his pain and express his problem also. He was so much grief-stricken. Sri Ramakrishna came down from that horse carriage. Whether he prayed or not, he came from the horse carriage. And he came and he just circumambulated that burnt place thrice. And Sri Ramakrishna went and he sat in the horse carriage and he left to the Dakshineshwar. This Muslim fellow, he didn't understand what is this. I thought he will do something miracle or he will give something assurance. And nothing happened. Only he just 3 times circumambulated and he left. But slowly, because of that grace, divine grace or Sri Ramakrishna's grace, in no time he got the money and he built the house and there was no more fire accident and he had a peaceful life and he left his body and afterwards his children, grandchildren also, they started living in the same house without any problem or without much problem. So if we don't know how God's grace prevails, God's grace come to us, but we need to believe in his protection. we should have a firm faith. It is not a blind faith, but we should have a firm faith with all consciousness. Then the fourth is Goptrutve Varanam, embracing the Lord's guardianship. Means the Lord is the creator and the sustainer and the dissolver of this universe. He is the Lord of every being. He is the Lord of everything in this entire universe. Created, uncreated, manifested, unmanifested, sentient and non-sentient or insentient. He is the Lord of everything, including me. So accepting that Lordship, He is my own, He is my Lord, He is my Master. Accepting Him and praying that, oh, my dear, please protect me, please lead me, please hold me. So having such type of dedication, having such type of prayerful attitude and accepting Him as my whole and soul is what the Goptrutve Varanam. Then if you see one saint, Swami Tyagishanandaji, he was living in Bangalore, in southern part of India, in 1950s around. There was a birthday celebration. Then around less than means 500 to 1,000 people are supposed to come and will be participating in that celebration. And all of them has to be fed. You imagine 500 to 1,000 people have to be fed. Fed, you need how many vegetables, groceries, all these things. But there is no grocery left in the monastery. Then one novice, brahmachari, that is called novice, he went and approaches the Swami Tyagishanji. Swamiji, we don't have any groceries. Maybe 2 or 3 or 5 people at the most we can cook. More than that we cannot cook. And we don't have money and we don't have any groceries. So I think we should try to go and approach some businessman or some charitable mindset people so that we can get some groceries so that we'll be able to celebrate. This Swami Tyagishanji said, look, this is the master celebration. It is not mine, not yours. If master thinks, if master feels, or if he wishes, let the groceries come by of itself. Why should we boggle? Now, many of us, we may say, but in the heart of heart, we will have doubt. We will not have that faith. But in these people's case, they will have 100% faith. That is the difference. But the young novice said, no, how can Sri Ramakrishna will come and give the groceries for us to celebrate his own birthday? No, we should go and we should make our attempt. We should try to ask. We should try to go for, asking donations and all these things, he said. But the Swamiji said, nothing doing. If his will is there, let his will prevail. Whatever his will is there, let it so happen. You need not to go and ask anyone. And it is my command. You should not do that. And the young novice reluctantly had to accept and he has to go back to his room. Though he didn't accept it, but still because he had to obey his senior's command, he went back to his room. Then few hours, one of the devotee was a merchant. He had sent a cartload of groceries, vegetables, all these things, and it entered the monastery. Then this Swamiji came and that novice, 2 or 3 novices were there. They also came and everyone were dumbfounded. But Swamiji thought that this brahmachari, this novice might have gone and informed some devotees who are the merchants. Probably they have sent. That he didn't want it to happen. That he said to that bullock cart fellow, you stay there just and you tell me who sent you this. Then the such and such a person sent. Why did he send? Who told him to send all these things? Then he said, we don't know, sir. My master had a dream, it seems, that there is a need of the groceries and there is a need of vegetables for the celebrations. And so my master has sent all these things and no one approached us. No one asked for it. Then all groceries, vegetables were kept in the kitchen and the celebration went in a big way. And around 1,000 people had their sumptuous meal and a lot of poor feeding also happened that day. Now you see complete faith in him. In Sri Ramakrishna's or in his master's grace, he had a faith and he said, let his will prevail. And he kept quiet. And for everyone's astonishment, unaskingly, a lot of groceries, vegetables, and whatever is required for a celebration, everything came. Now, if we have got 100% faith in that, we can do. And if we don't have, then it is better we should work for it. asking for donations, asking and going and asking people, please help us for this work, such and such. If you've got 100% faith, definitely you should do it. If you don't have, then definitely you should understand that, yes, I don't have that 100% faith. My faith is not yet ripened. Still, I feel that I can do something. If I try, I will be able to get it if you feel that it is better to work. So I think in one of the Sunday talk, I have self-effort versus divine grace. Already I have discussed in detail what are the 3 stages and all. So if the faith is not ripened, it is better to put our own self-efforts. Then the 5th is Atma Nikshepaha, that is self-dedication. This self-dedication is the very important thing among all the 6 limbs. This is the main thing. All other 5 limbs are the the tentacles or the wings of this self-dedication, Atma Nikshepa, according to the saints or according to the philosophers. Because if self-dedication is there, all the other 5 components will come into play, will fall at place, will come automatically. That is what the people say. Now, the self-dedication is very, very important. I offer my body, my mind, everything at the feet of the Lord. Nothing is mine, everything is His. Even my body, my mind, my sense organs, my time, everything is His, and it is all dedicated for His service. That is what you mean, self-dedication. Swami Trigunatitanji, one of the apostles of Sri Ramakrishna, way back in 1901, or maybe a bit late, 1910 around, say, 1910, 1920s, he built first Hindu temple in whole of America in 1890 to 1910, those time. He built the first Indian temple or Hindu temple in the New York. It was quite famous in those times, no doubt. Now, of course, so many temples have come. Then there was an earthquake. When there was an earth shaking, then Swami Trigunatitanji said, Master, if I have, while I was building this temple, I thought about you and you alone. And there is no selfish tinge in this building, this monastery, and including this temple. If even there is a 1% selfishness or for desire for name and fame, power and position, for whatever, while building this temple, let this temple also broke into pieces, or let it get reduced into grounds. If not, then in spite of having the earthquake, let this building not happen anything. Let there no be any damage in whatever form, in whatever percentage to this temple. He prayed that. And for everyone's astonishment, major portion of the New York City was reduced into ashes, reduced into the grounds. Huge buildings, structural buildings, well-built buildings were collapsed because of the earthquake. It was a massive earthquake those times. So many temples, many buildings, and many houses, everything was reduced into grounds. But this particular temple, which was built by Swami Trigunatitanji, nothing happened. Not only that, not even a simple hairline crack was there on this temple. So this is one of the signs of dedication, self-dedication. When we dedicate ourselves completely to the Lord, there is nothing. For example, my Gurudev, my Guru or my teacher, his 97th birthday it was, 96th or 97th birthday. One of the disciples or one of the young monks said, Swamiji, we would like to celebrate your 100th birthday. Please bless us. Immediately, instantly on birthday, imagine, he said, no, it is not possible. Then the whole situation became very grave. That means what? He's no more living for, he's not living for 3 more years. And he's telling as if nothing happens. Then the young monk felt very uneasy. Then the whole situation became a bit grave. Then one monk asked, why Swamiji, don't you wish to live 3 more years? Immediately he said, Swami Raghunathanji, that is my Gurudev, said, according to my prarabdha karma, so I was supposed to leave this body at the 92 years, but my master, that is Sri Ramakrishna, wanted to do some service, some work through this body. So he gave grace period of 5 years, and that grace period of 5 years is over. Now I am leaving. Just like we are leaving from one place to another, he's telling that I am going to leave. Then the monk said, Swamiji, please ask your master, Sri Ramakrishna, to give 3 more years of grace period so that we can celebrate your 100th birthday. Immediately said, no, it is his will. his will prevail. It is his will. So I had 5 years of period. I had lived and I have done my work, and everything is done. Now it is my time to leave the body, look to go away. And he said in December, in April, he left his mortal coil, he left his physical body. So this whole conversation, if you see, it is his will, so I stayed. It is his work, he did through this body. I am mere instrument. This is what the self-dedication. Once we have got self-dedication, whole body, mind, sense organ, time, everything is dedicated to the Lord and his work, his service. So everything is open for, or everything has been dedicated, everything has been offered for at the altar of God, at the altar of the Supreme Self. Then the sixth is experience of one's own helpless condition or limitation. Of course, self-effort is necessary, imperative, no doubt, and we have got a lot of power, lot of energy, lot of capacity, lot of strength for all of us, no doubt. We should exercise it as much as possible. But after some time, we do understand that how much ever I think I'm intelligent, I am wise, I'm capable, I can do this, I can do that, all that, in spite of that, I will have my own limitations. After some particular time or some particular going forward, I will understand that beyond this, I cannot go further. Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful example. A bird came and sat on the steamer, and somehow it slept off. Steamer started its journey, few kilometers, maybe 20 or 50 or 100 kilometers. It has come from the bank of the ocean. Then suddenly the bird got awakened, it got from sleep, and now it sees everywhere water, water, water. Immediately it felt, oh, I should fly back, and it came in east direction. With his using its power, it flew again, water, water, water. There is no place, there is no land at all. Again, it came back, it got tired, it came back, and again it sat on the steamer. Then few hours it took relaxation or rest, and again it went to west direction. Again, it flew for a few kilometers, everywhere water only. Again, it came back. Then it went in north, came back. South it went, came back. Then afterwards it thought, wherever I go, only water is there. There is no point in going. Wherever this steamer is going, let me go along with that. Then after a few days, 2 or 3 or 1 week or whatever, it went to nearby city, and it, because of maybe exchange of goods or people coming and going. Then when it came near the land, the steamer, this bird flew into that particular country or particular land, and it started its life. So this is what called this karpanya. How much ever we can do, we should do it. We should exhaust all that possibilities. I should not feel that, oh, if I had tried, I would have got it. That should not be happening. After doing all that exhaustion, it is not because of laziness, because we will understand the limitations of our mind, intellect, and the senses. And normally, naturally, the surrender will come. That is called karpanya. So this type of understanding one's own limitation, helpless condition, and taking refuge at the feet of the Lord is called karpanya. These are the 6 limbs of the self-surrender. When all the 6 components or boxes has been ticked, then only we can say that we have surrendered at the feet of the Lord. We have surrendered at the feet of the Divine Mother or the Supreme Self. Then what happens if you surrender? If you surrender, miracles happens. What is that? Either experiencing the self, God realization, self-realization, and whatever you want, materialistic prosperity, spiritual progress, whatever you want, everything is possible once you take refuge at the feet of the Lord. Because Lord is yours now. Whatever you want, if at all, Lord will fulfill your promises. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Whoever surrenders at me, whoever forsakes for my sake, I will take care of their belongings. I will take care of their, progress. I will take care for their needs. That's what Shri Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita. That is seen in all the great people's, great devotees' life. So may Sri Ramakrishna, the universal spirit, bless all of us so that we shall try to understand and we shall try to, practice this self-surrender so that we'll be able to be the fittest instrument in divine hands, and so that we can experience the divine and we can help others to manifest the divinity. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Yes, Christian, you got any doubts? Any questions?
Yeah, plenty of questions, Swami, of course, as always.
Welcome.
So, what is the difference between, you said, firm faith and blind faith? Use those terms. I don't really understand the difference.
Yes, blind faith in the sense sometimes, oh, because X said, Y said, so just I don't think much. Simply, just I am believing.
Right.
Now, okay. When firm faith means consciously, knowingly, with all conscious, with all knowingly, having a faith in a God or in the Supreme Self.
I understand. No
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
For an example, someone asked me when I was when I was young, maybe at 9 or 10 years. Okay, I had been to a temple and I just circumambulated and I was praying. Then someone asked me, I mean, in a good sense only asked me. He asked me that who is this God? Then I said, sorry, I don't know. Then why are you praying? Oh, because my mother taught me that I should pray here, so I'm praying. So who is he? What is he? I don't know. I didn't know anything. Because my mother had said, I'm praying, that's all. Tomorrow, if someone comes, hey, you fool, your mother doesn't know that he's not a God, so you should not have, do prayer here, nothing will happen, you don't get anything, then my faith might have got disturbed. Because I didn't know properly what it is actually. Just on someone's belief, just I was doing it. That's what I used to say. Sometimes it can happen, that's what. Though faith is never blind, that is true, but it is used. I mean, rather to give a more emphasis that with consciously we have to practice this.
Would you say firm faith, blind faith is the absence of knowledge, and firm faith was all the knowledge of who the deity is? Yeah, yeah. How does one know, like, the will of God? So you were saying there that with that monastic, I will not live any longer because it is not Sri Rama's will. How does one know when one has, like, say, I don't know, how for monastic does one know that this is God's desire and not one's ego or coming from a lower place?
Yeah, when we advance in spiritual life, at the given point of time, we can think that whatever is ethical, whatever is moral, and which can bring the greater good for the people, that can be the God's will, we can think at the given point of time. So when we advance spiritually more and more, when our egos get ripened, when we reduce our egos more and more, and when we become more and more humble, we'll be able to understand what is the God's will.
And is this like an experience, like people
Yes,
have?
it is an experience also. It starts with an understanding, afterwards it becomes an experience. It becomes the fact, I mean.
And maybe you can't remember, what is it like? Is it like your will disappears, or is like an extra voice in your head? I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine.
Well, see, it is difficult to pinpointedly say sometimes. Probably I put in this way that you will experience that, okay, this is what God's will. This is God wishes.
Okay.
I can say rather otherwise, like intuition, with the help of the intuition,
Yeah,
intuitively you will understand that.
I understand. Yeah, yeah. Understand. Yeah.
Because now at the given point of time, our minds are colored with the egos. Our own egos, our own calculations, our own likes and dislikes, success and failure, power and position, name and fame, all these things, we cannot understand. The more and more these things goes down, reduces, and more mind becomes pure instrument,
Yeah, yeah.
then you will be able to understand all these things.
Yeah. So before that time, one just needs to follow certain rules, like kind of like you said, like with karma yoga, like self-realization with the good of humanity as well. Like you just have to. I can get. And one more, don't take offense, Swami. So if you read the Gita, Krishna talks about how karma yoga is its path in itself, and shows the Swami Vivekananda. And Krishna talks about how kings at that time reached to self-realization just by doing their duty. So why does a monk exist if one can reach the highest by living a householder life. You also talk about this in your Carmelo lecture with the monk in the forest and the wife doing her duty, and also the butcher, the something Gita. So why is a monk? What's the point of a monk if one can achieve all these things through a householder life?
Okay. Okay. So now see, God realization or self realization is the goal of the human life. Okay. Now for that there are two paths. One is the path of renunciation, that is from the student life, from the bachelor life, student life, going to directly to the monastic life, becoming a monk. The other is as to bachelor life, then going to entering to family life, doing the family responsibilities and trying to spend some time in a doing ethical way, moral way, and trying to remember God as much as possible, apart from doing the family duties and responsibilities or society responsibilities. Then slowly, once family responsibilities are done, children are grown up and they're able to take care of the family, or they are self-dependent now, then becoming a forest dweller. That is called Vanaprastha-ashrami.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah.
Time need be, then he can take the renunciate life or forest dweller life. This is what there are two paths, which is called Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga.
Yeah.
Now the monk there, he had taken the Nivritti Marga. Is a spiritual aspirant and he had taken the Nivritti Marga. And the butcher, he had taken the family life, that is called Pravritti Marga. But in spite of he was a butcher or whatever, he was doing from the sense of duty, and he had, spiritually had advanced. Now this monk, he was leading a monk life, no doubt, but for some reasons or whatever, probably the understanding of religion, understanding of dharma was not still complete. That's the reason he had to go and he had to try to learn what is dharma from the butcher actually. Now, whether you are a monk or a butcher or a statesman or you are a beggar, God doesn't see all that. How you are pure and how much you are evolved spiritually, that is going near to God, is what important.
So my question is, why would one choose Nivritti Marga, like the life of a monk? Because we all have parents. So is it not one's duty to take care of these parents when they get old, to provide for the family? Is it not abandoning one's duty? I know, I understand circumstances, let's say if your parents die or whatever. But like I'm saying is you can reach the highest through householder life. So wouldn't it be very rare circumstances where you've no duties? Let's say your parents die, your family dies, where it would make sense where you've no duties to take household.
Leading a family life and attaining the spiritual progress is difficult, no doubt, more challenging, no doubt, but it is possible. Now, why I should select this or why I should not select this? No, there is no reason for that. There is no, whichever suits you according to your tendencies, according to your mindset, according to your desires, you can take the path, either life of renunciate or life of householder. But the central part is, the important part is God realization.
Yeah. I get you. Yeah. Okay.